contemplating stopping here, so I sat for a minute, and somehow my water bottle fell out of my backpack and broke all over the rocks. So I'm taking that as a sign that there's a few things that need to be looked at here. One is, a container breaking, something breaking, right? A container, something that's holding the emotions in, right? The water is the emotions. And so what I'm looking at here as I sit and contemplate this is that in order for the emotions to come out, morning. So interestingly, that was also part of it, that in order for the emotions to come out, the container has to break open, which is so crazy when you think about that from a human level, because here I am on this walk, right? And I wasn't planning on getting content. I was looking for new places I could potentially film. And so here I am on this walk, this trail, one of my favorite places near our house. And now a man just passes by, and that was one of the things I was fearing, right? I was fearing somebody who was going to see me filming, and here's the emotion coming up. He was going to see me filming, and he was going to think, wow, she's so vain. So I have a blockage. I have a limiting belief around these videos that I make for you, and I'm the one that's vain, right? Like, this feeling of, oh, well, if you're filming yourself, you're consumed with yourself, right? If you're sharing your perspective online, you think you're better than others. And this is still existing within me after 3 years of YouTube. I'm still afraid to come out here in public and film videos. I'm on YouTube. I make a living on YouTube. And I still am afraid to come out here and do this. I still have fears around pushing my boundaries, around showing up in a different way. This is a different way for me. I normally film in my house. That's like my comfort zone. And so the comfort zone, here we go, you guys. The comfort zone is the glass breaking open. And so when your comfort zone breaks open, that's when the emotions can really start to flow. When you are outside of your comfort zone, this is when you actually have the ability to create new programs. Because all the old programs, all the emotions, all the old belief systems are going to start coming up. So it's only in the event that you are outside of your comfort zone, like I am doing right now on this hike, going back to nature, going back to myself, back to my natural essence, that this was even possible. There was a few things I was afraid of on this walk. I was actually, funny enough, I was afraid of not having enough water. And so literally one of the first things that happens is I'm sitting here and my bottle comes out, it slams on the rocks and it breaks, it shatters. And there's the first fear, not enough water. Which leads me to another core fear that I've been moving through recently, which is not enough, just purely not enough. And me feeling like I'm not enough, and feeling like it's really interesting how this has been playing out in my life, because I've realized that when I'm feeling like I'm not enough, everything else around me is not enough. Like I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough love, or I don't have enough support. And what people are giving me is not enough. I'm not even grateful for what they are giving me because I feel like I'm not enough. And so I never would have imagined, like obviously I use the mirror all the time, but I would never have imagined that it would play out this way in my entire life. And it's one of those things that like it keeps coming up and keeps coming up and keeps coming up. So this fear of not being enough it keeps surfacing, and it surfaces especially when I am outside of my comfort zone, right? When that container breaks, when I know that I'm doubting myself, when I know that I'm limiting myself, and that I'm sitting here in this nature and I have so much emotion in my solar plexus, like it's so activated right now, and maybe you can even feel it watching this, because there's so many things that literally everything I was afraid of on this walk has happened. And so it goes to show you that like the things that happen are manifested by you, good or bad, and that good or bad, they're actually happening for you. Because without going on this walk, without breaking my water bottle, without that man passing me by, I would not have had this experience, right? If everything went according to plan, you wouldn't have experienced this realness, this rawness. I wouldn't have experienced this realness, this rawness. And like, you know, it's funny because I was contemplating what I was maybe going to talk about on a video when I got down here. And I was thinking about this idea that I could see myself here. I could see myself in this place, right? This beautiful, stunning place. I could see myself here this morning, but yet this morning it was cloudy and it was raining. And so I was like, okay, well, apparently that's not going to happen today, and my intuition was just wrong, right? Or I was in my ego or something. I couldn't figure out why I kept seeing and feeling myself here, but yet it's raining and I'm probably in cold, and I'm not going to go outside and hike when it's raining and cold. And so it brought me to this really interesting point, which was, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen or not, it's a matter of when. Because then I had finished a call that I had with a client and had a little bit of a tea break with my beautiful baby girl, and then suddenly the skies started to change. Within 5 minutes it was sunny out and the clouds were moving and it's getting warmer, and I'm like, whoa, it wasn't a matter of if that thing was going to happen today or not, it was a matter of when it's going to happen. And so I think the same is true for a lot of us when we get in our heads about, oh, well, I had an intuition or I had a synchronicity that this thing was going to happen, and now I'm doubting if it's going to happen. And the idea here is, don't doubt if it's going to happen. Just remember that it's not about the if, it's about the when. It's about when is it going to happen? When is it going to show up? And I'm still processing the fact that my water bottle cracked, because I'm definitely sad about that. I was not expecting that at all. But again, it comes back to, you know, your expectations versus what you need, right? Like, we think, oh, I'm gonna have this perfect, beautiful experience, and when it's not that, we start to doubt ourselves. We start to feel like we messed up in some way, like we weren't worthy of having the experience that we wanted to have, rather than saying, what was the value in that for me? Because there's always value in every experience that you're having in your entire life. There's always value. And it's just a matter of, can you see the value in it now? Or will you see the value maybe in 5 years from now when you're looking back on it? And so, like, you can live a happier life and a more fulfilled life if you are able to see the value in your misfortunes now, rather than needing to look back on it in 5 years. Obviously, neither one is good or bad or right or wrong. It's just a matter of perspective. Hello. Ooh, I'm gonna get stuck. Enjoy your day. So it's just a matter of perspective, and seeing even now, my response now even in this moment, you guys, to the second person walking by versus the first person, is I was so much more willing to receive the second person than I was willing to receive the first person. You know, the first person comes and I'm like, oh shit, that fear is happening. Oh gosh, it's coming, it's coming. Oh no, it's here. And then the second person is like, okay, it's happening again. And so that also goes to show you that when you are outside of your comfort zone, and I'm so like, I have such a feeling of pride in myself right now, because I can see in this moment really what I'm going through right now, and I can see the fears coming up and I can see them arising, but I'm not, because I'm here with you, I'm not allowing it to play out. I'm allowing myself to like just look at it for what it is, rather than creating an entire story and an entire projection around it. But it also just goes to show that when you are outside your comfort zone, it's the repetition, right? So our comfort zones are always expanding, right? If you think about it like a circle, right? It's always expanding, and then it expands a little bit, and then you repeat and you repeat and repeat, and it expands a little bit because you get comfortable with being outside your comfort zone. At 11:11 on this clock, you get comfortable with being outside of your comfort zone. And one of the things that you can do, which actually, in my opinion, maybe I'll even just start walking back a little bit. Hopefully I'm hoping that the waves aren't too loud, even this entire time. That was also one of the things I was afraid of, like that I'm gonna get back to my car, and this is a really treacherous place to start walking. So I'm like going up on the cliff edge here. So I'm not going to be looking at you guys because I'm going to be focusing on what I'm doing. But one of my other big fears was that I'm going to get back to my car and I'm going to look at this recording or this audio or whatever I created maybe when I was out here, because I don't have my new microphone thing yet, my lapel mic, and it's coming on Friday. And so I'm going to look back on this and I'm going to be like, I can't even hear myself. Oh my god, you guys, I just... The synchronicities here are insane. So I said I didn't even hear myself, and then I could hear the bottle crackling in the background, literally in my backpack, at the moment I said I can't even hear myself. So it's showing me that that is another fear that I'm afraid of. Like, that's another thing I was afraid of. All these limiting beliefs around why this isn't going to work, why I can't do what I want to do, why I can't have what I want to have. And I want to show you what I'm standing out and looking at right now. So all of these beliefs coming to the surface around why I can't do, have, or be the person that I want to be, all simply existing in my mind. And these are the things that I'm afraid of. And they might seem so silly to somebody else, like, why on earth would you be afraid of that? And the answer is, I don't know exactly why I'm afraid of that. I'm sure it comes from a program, something from in my childhood, or, you know, being seen, being heard, being looked at, being viewed a specific way. And I'm coming up against all of that in this moment as I'm filming it. And I feel, one, I feel super alive. Two, I feel my solar plexus is super activated. And like, I am like exhilarated right now. Like, I'm on a roller coaster ride because of all the things that are happening on this journey. And I'm also realizing like how simple it is. How simple it is for me to just sit here and talk to you while I'm moving through all of this. And like, it's an adventure that we're having together. Like, I know I've been doing YouTube now for 3 years. I know how to talk in front of a camera. And this is the thing about your own journey, is you have all the elements. Okay, you have all the elements. You have all the skills. I know how to navigate these rocks that I'm walking on. I know how to navigate these rocks. I'm saying them like my daughter would say them, walks. I know how to navigate these rocks. I know how to speak on camera. And the only thing is the integration of it all. And like doing this, coming out here, I'm feeling so fulfilled, and I'm feeling like it was so simple to do this. And yet I've hesitated for so long to do something like this. And I've done it a lot of times and I've never released the videos. So the lesson here is that everything's in your head. Everything that you feared is existing only in your head. And when it plays out, because sometimes it will, not always, but when it plays out in physical reality, you're going to realize that you can survive it. And you can see it as the adventure that it is. You can see it as the experience that it's meant to be, and the wisdom that you're meant to gain from it. So it doesn't have to be this big I failed at what I wanted to create. It doesn't have to be that story anymore. Like, you have the ability to move past that story. And you know, one of the things that I had to come to, one of the conclusions that I had to come to around seeing the seagull taking off, taking flight. So what are you taking flight with? But one of the things I had to come to terms with when deciding to make this video out here today was that somebody may walk by and see me. And now it's happened twice in the span of 16 minutes. And the thing that I'm keeping in mind is that whoever was meant to walk by was meant to walk by, right? Like, if someone was going to walk by, it was meant to happen that way. It was divinely orchestrated. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It wasn't because they were in. It was actually because we were both in the exact right place at the exact right time. We both were open enough to see that this is what was needing to come out. This is what was needing to come into fruition. And to trust in that. And this is where, you know, when you doubt yourself, you have a lack of trust that things are going to work out, that things are going to be okay. When in reality, like, what I'm getting to do, the blessing that, and it's going to make me emotional, because like the blessing that I'm getting to have right now is I'm getting to do my work in a place like this. I'm getting to experience the nature, the green, the blue, the sound of the ocean, the feeling of the rocks under my feet. Like, I'm getting to have this beautiful visceral experience that I can bring you along with and say, when you follow your intuition, when you follow your heart, you literally only receive beauty. And even though if it's beauty disguised as discomfort, or beauty disguised as lack, or beauty disguised as disappointment, it's still beautiful in its own right. And as humans, we like to take that away from it because it's not what I wanted. It's not what we wanted to experience. So we think, oh, I'm going to take that away from the beauty of what this moment actually is. And that's part of being present, is remembering, like, oh, this is actually beautiful too. This is actually part of the divine dance, part of the divine play. And I'm also part of that. We're not separate from each other in that way. We're all dancing and moving and exploring and learning together. And negative emotion or discomfort doesn't take that away from the experience. It actually adds to it. It adds to the color. So just being grateful for when your water bottle breaks and you have no water. And now I'm gonna have to order a new glass water bottle. And yes, I will still order glass, because glass over plastic, for me personally, no judgment here. You got to do what you got to do. But part of, you know, my core beliefs and my core values has me aligning to a glass water bottle over a plastic one. But yeah. So, as I just almost tripped, that was another one of my fears that was going to happen, is I was going to be recording and just paying attention to what I was recording, and then I was going to trip. So, you know, it's just a beautiful experience right now for me to be able to be playing out these fears while you are witnessing it. Like, you are the one here, actually, funny enough, because usually on my videos and the work I do, it's me holding space for you or holding space for whoever else I'm working with in that moment. But what this is actually showing me is that I'm actually going through this experience, you're going through it with me, and you are actually holding space for me moving through this. Like, you are actually the witness to what I'm moving through right now, which is pretty amazing. So I just want to say thank you. If you watched this video to this point, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for experiencing this with me. Thank you for watching my channel. If you don't know already, I'm Serena. I talk about twin flames, conscious relationships, and spiritual awakening. That is my space. That is my comfort zone, I guess. So interestingly enough, to use that word, comfort zone, this is where I feel comfortable. This is the stuff I like to talk about. But it's also kind of, you know, my zone of genius. It's also my zone of genius. It's what I feel like I've been called, at least in this moment, I've been called to create in the world. It's where I've been called to serve. In other moments, I've been called to serve elsewhere. So, yeah, thanks for joining me on this video. I'm sending you lots and lots of love from South Africa. And hopefully I'll see you soon. Big love. Bye.